In your entire leadership journey, your life journey, what is one lesson that you would say is the greatest lesson you've taken away or you want to share with others?
Humility, being humble and also being vulnerable. We tend at times, because if we reach certain status, regardless if it's monetary or position-wise, tend to be arrogant. So the best thing I can share is always maintain your humility and always be humble. When you serve others, this humbleness does not take away from their improvement, and they will be open to you to share their feedback and insights.
I love that. And, speaking about humility and being humble, I know you have this vision of compassionate leadership. So I'm curious to hear from you, if your vision is a reality today, what would that look like? How do we lead with humility and compassion? And when in the real world, in the corporate tough world, it's often viewed as a weakness.
Yeah, true. It's because of the system we're in. We are in a regardless of where we're at, because we're global thinkers. And the show like yours, although it was Canada, I hope my presence on it will make it global with time as others come to it. And I encourage others to come. I like your leading style, the way you're leading others and the way you're managing yourself. So I'm very much in support to your efforts. Now, to humility and compassion. We are, at least in the Western world, there is the capitalist system in place. We inherited that because of circumstances. There's socialism, there's capitalism, and it worked for us for a while, but at a cost. My initiative is to remaking of the new capitalist by adding a compassion to the formula of making money. You can be a successful leader, you can manage others, you can acquire any amount of money you want or wealth you want, but in the same time, think of others and how to serve them. And we can do that through compassion. Compassionate leadership is when you serve others without expecting anything in return. It's not like empathy. There's an empathy, I'm feeling your shoes, and you move on and you do other things, but good or bad. No, compassion and compassionate leadership is something, it's not a pity. You're not pitying the others. You're not feeling sorry for them. You're empowering them by providing some of the resources you have and assets you have at their disposal without losing anything. Meaning, this is where corporate responsibility comes into place. An example, if you are, in the old days, you care about the corporate culture and you care about the wealth of the shareholders, maximizing the profit of the shareholders. My proposal of the new thinking of compassionate capitalist is you think of the organization and its well-being, you think of the shareholders, but in the same time, you care about the employees that are making this thing happen in a reality. How do you do that? Do you share some of the assets? Do you share some of the profits? Do you give them extra shares? That's an approach you reach. But at least the mindset is you're also considering these individuals that are helping you as an organization succeed and thrive. So this way they can be empowered and probably produce more to you and your organization and shareholders. So compassionate leadership really it's not a new thinking, but it's an emerging trend that we're saying to people in power, capitalists or governments, that don't think of yourself only. The I should be kind of minimized, not eliminated. We celebrate the I, but think of others. Because if you do, it's going to be also good for you. Because if you have a thriving society and you are a capitalist in that society, you are going to win. But if you have a society that is deprived, you're going to lose. Because due to whatever reasons, whether it's civil, uncivil, like what's happening to us now, there is a difference. We name it something different here. We call it inclusion, even in your place, inclusion, diversity, and equity. The equity we talk about, there's no equity in sharing the wealth. We're saying share the wealth and make these people powerful, empowered in their own circle, in their own environments. So this way you have a peace of mind.
I would love to hear your perspective on how do we actually action on this and how do we implement it to change the conversation or change the mindsets of leaders who are not naturally motivated that way. And I hear often from middle managers who are, looking to progress that I have to be me, that's the only way I would be able to progress in my career. So how can we change those conversations? What do we need to do?
Just be kind. Be kind to others. They will reciprocate back. I also teach an MBA organizational behavior class. Also teach leading teams and individuals in organization theory. In the organizational behavior class, that's a class for managers and leaders to regulate the behavior of their employees in general. That's kind of one of the premises of that course. So to be kind, and they would reciprocate in kind. Meet their needs, make sure their needs are met, make sure they have a certain dignity in the way you deal with them. You approach the society that you're in, whether culture, organizational culture, or society they're in. You give them a sense of belonging. Let them be aware that their feedback is appreciated, their contribution is valued. They are an important part of the society or culture they're in. These are elements where you change the behavior of the individual that you're leading or managing. Now, how do we change the behavior of the leader? Two things. One part is the employees or the members of society. They would learn how to manage or lead their leaders by actually meeting their needs. We are, as humans, we have certain needs, and those needs will allow us to be motivated if they are met. For me to motivate you to do something, I have to meet certain needs that you have. For you to motivate me, you have to meet certain needs that I have, or allow me to meet certain needs, professional needs. Same thing with the environment we're within. Same thing with leaders that are not enlightened and mindful, because not every leader is a leader that is worthy of being followed. But because of power structure and hierarchies, we see ourselves, or because of votes, whatever, we see ourselves following this leader, or this leader is our president, manager, or person of authority over our lives. So how do you deal with them? Respect, sure, if they deserve it. But if you don't have power to voice an opinion, then you really have to meet their needs by being a contributing member of that specific society to the betterment of the organization in general. And if this leader sees this improvement, there are two things could happen. If they're arrogant, they're going to take that credit to themselves. There's nothing you can do about it. But if they have some sense of humanity, some sense of leading or inspiring others, they will appreciate you. So if you are in the position where they are sensing your hard work and they're paying back some attention to you, you stay in that organization. Otherwise, you exit. You don't belong in that organization, because the leader is going to take all the credit they can, she or he can, and they will just run with it. And you're just nothing but a number in that organization. And they see you, sorry if I use the term, they see you as a slave, that you are working for them, not with them. So very hard. Human behavior is very hard to deal with, but there are certain ways and techniques where you can regulate these behaviors to the betterment of the organization, self, and society.
So it's all about having that self-awareness and understanding the other person's needs and values, right?
It's a mutual, yes. They have needs. The leader has needs, and you have needs. Some of your needs as an employee may be of lesser needs than their manager, because certain managers, they reach certain levels where they don't need the increase in wages anymore. The bonus means nothing to them. They need to be recognized. They need to be appreciated. And then your job is to understand these needs and give it to them. If you do that, they will reciprocate in kind by giving you your needs. What are your needs? Probably a bonus, probably a promotion. So you succeed along the way. You're not manipulating the process, you're regulating the behaviors.